Okay.
Keto can be hard. Tabulating, measuring, baking, taking 3 months to perfect one recipe, and to mixed reviews.
Did something die in here? Oh, I think it moved.
And by that point, you give up your diet, find a dark corner, and stuff yourself with sugar, carbs, and regret.
This, isn't what it looks like.
Well, this is where Keto Chow saves the day. The easiest, tastiest, ketoist meal replacement on the market.
It's like ice cream melted in my mouth.
Yes, but melted ice cream with all the protein, nutrients, vitamins, and electrolytes your body needs.
Oh, that's cool.
And with 3 starter kits, each with restaurant tips, keto food guides, and a ton of flavors to try, your taste buds and your waistline will thank you.
Thank you.
So grab your starter kit today at jimmylovesketochow.com.
It's so easy.
Keto Chow. Make keto easy.
Yeah, I don't know about the calories. I listen to satiety, and it's like, okay, if I'm guesstimating, I put the same amount of heavy cream in the bottom. I've got like a system now. I put a little ice at the bottom, then I put the little ball in there, then I pour the heavy cream on top of that, then I put the scoop of Keto Chow on top of that, then I come over and fill it up with the water machine, so there's about that much at the top. I put the top on, I shake it.
Yeah.
Room in there at the top so it can shake and mix. I learned the hard way. If you don't leave that room, it's going to be clumpy at that first gulp.
Yeah.
So you have to. So
now, if you do butter, you need to melt the water. Melt the water. Oh my gosh, melt the butter. I usually do use like a coffee mug or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you have to use warm water, and it's best with a blender. Just shaking up in the blender bottle doesn't work as well. It's kind of like next level version of making Keto Chow. Heavy cream is just really easy though. If you're just starting off, that's the best way to do it.
And basically, heavy cream is just liquefied early version of butter. So I enjoy heavy cream the most. I have not done it with avocado oil, only because I'm not that big of a fan of avocado oil as a standalone to drink. Cook with, have on vegetables, that kind of thing, cool. But to drink in a shake, I don't know. That'd be kind of weird for my taste buds. So,
and don't worry about it then.
Yes, heavy cream works. So let's get into ingredients, because this is something that I think a lot of people paying attention to a lot more and more. But then they get caught up in a lot of the marketing of ingredients. Well, this includes 100% of all the X ingredient that you need for a day, and then you kind of research it and you go, like, that's just barely scratching the surface of what you actually need. So talk about what is so important about ingredients, and even same ingredients, but different qualities of ingredients.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to vitamin D. So we were talking about vitamin D and how that's necessary. And if you're low on that, you would need to get more. Vitamin D is not all created equal. You've got vitamin D2. Yeah. You've got vitamin D3. And humans, the go out and get some vitamin D that everybody talks about.
Yeah.
What that's doing is your body is taking the precursors to vitamin D3, which is vitamin D2, and using the sunlight, it's converting that into vitamin D3. Because we have to have vitamin D3. That's called cholecalciferol. What, I don't know. I can't.
Yes.
Yes. Vitamin D3. Anyway, that we in Keto Chow. So one of the reasons why we use the versions of the vitamins that we use is because I use it for my own food, and so it's a lot of companies will use vitamin D2. They'll use vitamin K1. They'll use folic acid instead of methylated folate.
Yes.
And sometimes they do that because it's cheaper.
Yes.
Like magnesium. Okay, if you look out on a magnesium supplement and it says magnesium oxide, just put it back. Because it's essentially paint, and you're not going to be able to absorb that. I've heard Dr. Barry talking about the vitamin A. You know, everybody would always go on and on about beta carotene.
Right.
Beta carotene is the plant form, and it has to be converted into retinol in order for humans to use it. And we can convert it a little bit, but not very well. And so when companies use the cheap forms, the And a lot of times it's not just it's the cheap form, but it's the vegan or plant-based form of the vitamins.
Yeah.
They're doing a disservice to their customers because people think that they're getting good vitamins, good nutrition.
Yeah.
When in fact what they're getting are inferior precursors. It's the stuff that, oh, go ahead.
So help us out. So if we're looking on a label, and feel free to throw out any that come to mind, but if you're looking on a label, how do you identify if it's a quality kind versus one of these cheaper kinds that are plant-based?
So unfortunately, some of it is you just have to learn the names of them.
Okay.
Quality products that have these added to them will tell you what type it is.
Okay.
So now sometimes they'll use the easy version like vitamin D3. Okay, that's easy. Other ones like, well, there's folate, there's folic acid, and then there's 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate.
Yes.
And if it doesn't say 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, which is a mouthful, the MTHFR thing,
right?
You're not getting the right kind of folate. And if you're the type of person who has that MTHFR gene mutation, which you've got that, lucky.
I've got one of them.
Okay. So if you're the kind that has that, you can't use folate or folic acid. You have to use MTHFR. And so it's important if you are, and we're going to get into this a bit, if you are in a place where because of your schedule or because of your situation, you're not able to take the time to cook real food, and you have to go with something that is pre-prepared or processed. I like to point out that cheese is my favorite processed food.
Yeah.
Anyway, so are eggs, unless you're good at picking them up off the ground.
So is olive oil, avocado oil, even butter. You want to kind of get to the brass tacks of it all.
Yeah.
Processed. Yeah. But it's still processed.
Yeah. So if your life choices mean, if your situation in life means that the choices that you have to make for your food involve getting processed foods, getting prepackaged foods, there is some onus on you, a requirement that you're going to have to learn to look at the ingredients to choose.
Yes.
And you've got companies that have jumped into the keto space, and they're throwing together stuff with maltitol, and they're using fibers to sweeten the stuff.
Yes, and they're not even trying to hide that they're not keto, because I was looking in the grocery store the other day, Chris, and there are wraps and they have a big sign on the front of them that says keto.
Yeah.
Always catches my attention. So I flipped the back, and the very first ingredient, enriched whole wheat flour. I'm like, really? So they're not even like pretending like they're following any parameters, and there's no oversight, that there's no definition of keto by the FDA or whatever, so they can say whatever they want. They can make any claim they want. It's keto, and it's not.
Yeah. Yep. And it's unfortunate, and so I have a company, and we sell a keto product. Now, we've been around a lot longer.
Let's be clear. You make a legit keto product. I've tested my blood sugar with a CGM on. It hardly moves with Keto Chow. I mean, it may be 5. That's it.
Yeah, but it is hard in the marketplace because people see, oh, this just says keto on it. Well, if it says keto on the label, just don't even buy it.
Yeah.
I can see where they're coming from.
Yes. It's easy to get jaded, as the bait and switch has happened way too much with a lot of companies. I'd say the vast majority of the products that are out there right now that say keto on them have problems. The vast majority, maybe 10 to 15%, and Keto Chow would be in that, are totally legit. Like, that's the thing, guys. If you get caught, is this keto? People ask me all the time, oh, I got this here. Is it keto? I'm like, test your blood sugar. Just see how you respond to it. Like, that's the telltale sign of how keto it is for you or not. I don't like really labeling foods keto, because it's like, okay, what could be keto for one person and get them into a wonderful state of fat burning won't work for somebody that's heavily type 2 diabetic, very insulin resistant, and maybe that same food doesn't serve them well. But find those foods that do. This is why animal-based foods almost universally work for most people in that way. And then those quality companies making quality ingredients, quality products with quality ingredients like Keto Chow, same thing. You kind of have to trust your own instincts there and read the label. Yeah. And you're very open. You're talking today very openly about the ingredients that you include and why you include them. Not all companies are willing to do that.
Yeah. Well, as you were talking about that, so something that I like to do when I'm looking at keto products, I like to find out the story behind the product, like keto brick or keto bars. Yes. Or different things like that. Was this created by someone, not as a company, not as a way to make money,
right?
But they were just like, hey, I need this for myself.
Yes. Yeah, Robert and Crystal, who do the keto brick, yeah, they were like, we just need something quick and easy. We go backpacking sometimes, just need something to be able to get our energy in a very dense form. And so, yeah, they just made these big bricks. They look like a bar of soap. Like literally, if you get it, you could like bathe yourself with it. It looks like it, but it's like a wonderfully, perfectly portioned, like calorically fat bomb, basically. And it's beautiful what they've done. And yeah, they're another company that has keto in the title and yet is totally legit. I don't really like them a whole lot because they've got coffee in them, and I'm a hyper taster, and I don't like
some of them don't have coffee now.
Oh, okay, so, good. So,
yeah, and I like to melt them down and make them smaller.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, they put them into molds and make like a little star mold or something, and they pop a star at 100 calories, that kind of thing. So, but yes, it's fun when you have a product like that, and your product's fun like that too, because not only do you do the shake, but a lot of people bake with your product as well. I've done a few little experiments where I'll add in a little Keto Chow to like maybe like a what is that, cup mug in the microwave that you can make. You can easily make it using as the protein powder. I almost hate calling Keto Chow protein powder because it's more fat than protein, but it does have protein in it. It's whey, right? Is the protein?
Actually, we used to use whey protein, but we switched to milk protein isolate, which has it's the proteins that are in cheese as well as the proteins that are in whey. And we did that because it dissolves slower, or rather, it digests slower. It mixes up creamier. It just works a lot better, and it has less of a insulinogenic effect on most people. We also have 3 flavors that use beef protein and beef bone broth protein.
Yes, savory ones, right?
Yeah, that's the taco soup, the tomato soup, and the beef base. And speaking of soup and making stuff, Jimmy, have you ever tried making the drop biscuits using the savory chicken soup?
I have not, but now I will.
Do you have any of that? Because if not, okay, good. Because that recipe is legit. We make that every time we go camping, and we'll make biscuits and gravy.
I'm currently in the midst of a 100-day journey where I'm sticking just or so that ends December. Okay. And then there's Christmas time, so maybe around Christmas I will make the drop chicken noodle or the chicken soup there.
Okay,
that sounds
now. We were talking a bit about stuff that's keto and not keto. Something that I've been kind of harping on a bit lately is people will get a bit uppity about this is keto and that's not keto. And something I like to remind people is that if you're allergic to peanuts, regardless of what it does to your blood glucose, for you,
it's a no.
Peanuts are not keto.
Yes.
Now, just because they're not keto for you does not mean that it's now your responsibility to gatekeep and tell people that peanuts are not